We are joined by the country's best traveler, it seems, in recent weeks,
Mhm.
Alex Michelson, who hosts The Issue Is. You can find that on his YouTube page, of course, for folks in Bakersfield. That's Fox 58, Sundays at 6 in the morning. Alex, you were also in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration recently. This was quite an event. What were your biggest takeaways other than the importance of layering in this winter blast?
It was very cold. The biggest takeaway, I think, is just the extraordinary connection between Donald Trump and his voters. The people that love him in a way that we have never seen before between any politician and their president, at least not in modern times. And he has effectively gone around the entire mainstream media, gone around the establishment of both parties to create this extraordinary bond. And they are with him for everything. And the other big takeaway, I would say, two, he is the greatest showman in the history of American politics. And part of the reason they love him so much is because he puts on a show that feels sometimes a little bit more like a wrestling match than it does a political event, but people love wrestling and they like the show. And his people give him a lot of grace because of that. And three, he's a lot better at it this time around. And he has people around him that know what they're doing in terms of passing really dramatic things very quickly. All the executive orders that he's doing, I mean, especially if you're a fan of cracking down on the border, they're moving really fast. And you think about Kamala Harris when she ran and she was on The View and they asked her, "What are you going to do differently from Joe Biden?" She could come up with an answer. Well, Donald Trump's answer is pretty long. There's a whole lot of change. He is remaking the executive branch within days. And if he keeps up this pace, will he completely transform the United States presidency?
And then what do you make of his relationship this time around to California? And of course, we have to mention it starts on this note of him having a visit potentially here to California in the next several days on wildfires. Not maybe the most diplomatic way to start off when we think about the rhetoric that was leading up into him taking office. What do you think his relationship to California will be like in this second term?
Right now, it's bad. You think about the fact that we've had these fires. Governor Newsom has invited him to come here. Several of the local officials have invited him to come. He says he's going to come. But in recent days, he has continued to slam California's leadership, calling the governor an idiot, saying that he's going to withhold aid unless Newsom does what Trump wants when it comes to water policy, sort of saying that the city looks like a nuclear bomb went off, saying things about sprinklers not working, which is not true, saying things about some magical valve that you turn in the middle of the state that would all of a sudden give California a bunch of water. So the relationship is not good, and that's a problem. If you think about the fact that California is going to need billions of dollars from the federal government, they got to find a way to make this work. And that tension between the president and the governor is bad for you and I and everybody in the state at a time when the state needs real help.
One of the toughest things for these victims, and we've seen it over the years with different fires, is trying to go through the federal government or even the state government to get aid for yourself. And when you have the potential of maybe two different processes, if Trump wants to be more direct through the federal government in granting relief aid versus what Newsom's doing, that's a lot of work for someone who has lost a house or has to pay for these homes to be redone, structures to be put back together. That has to also think about their family in a situation where we see thousands of structures just recently destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the government is not necessarily known for being incredibly efficient or potentially great at customer service. And so you multiply that by thousands of people who need help. You also know that our state is not really great at building homes. We've had a housing problem, a housing affordability problem, a building problem, a too much regulation problem for many years, part of the reason that we have so many homeless people. And so now you amplify that with even more demand on the system. It seems like it is a time where dramatic reform is necessary and quickly. Maybe, just maybe, they're able to actually do stuff that people have wanted to do for years, that this may give them the impetus to do it. But we got a long ways to go.
And last couple questions, because I know that you are going to be doing more work on the wildfires. This is still going to be such a long rebuilding process, and you have some events to go to today. You were one of the first people that was able to interview Governor Newsom on the next day after the wildfires started to break out. Fox 11's done great coverage down in LA and encouraged people
Thank
to
you.
watch your coverage. Yeah, no, it's been fantastic coverage to watch, and it's such an unfortunate series of situations. What was your takeaway from the interview that you did, and what's developed since as far as how he's governed the state and how he's responded in the wake of these fires?
I think he felt some of the pressure that was being put on him from certainly the right-wing sources online, and I think he understands the need to be seen as very visible. And he hasn't left LA since. Every single day, he's been doing different events on camera, meeting with folks, putting out the image of action. On this day, when we record this, he's going to be signing a $2.5 billion bill from the state legislature to work on emergency relief. That's a lot of money, and that gives them a lot of opportunities to do stuff. So I think he's aware of how important it is for him to be seen as in charge and as empathetic and as active. But since then, he was trying to be more inclusive in terms of President Trump. That was the first interview where he made the offer for the president to come. And Trump's rhetoric has not been very inclusive so far.
And my last question, this last summer, Kern County saw several wildfires. Our largest wildfire in county history at 60,000 acres, and now Los Angeles is seeing these wildfires. Are both of our counties is too familiar with what's been going on as far as these blazes are concerned. But you've been on the ground. What is your message for people to take away who obviously see the political issue of funding, whether or not that should be a political issue in relief and aid? What's your message from having been on the ground reporting every single day and hearing the stories of those people that have lost everything?
People are really hurting. Democrats are hurting. Republicans are hurting. Independents are hurting. People who didn't vote are hurting. The fire wasn't just burning Democratic houses or Republican houses. The fire went everywhere. We have thousands of people who are now without a home, and some of them without hope, who need some help right now. So this should not be a partisan thing. California is in crisis. It's time that we come together. It's time that we fix some of these issues, and it's time that we make these people whole.
And it's a big, important message too. I know we have people on staff here at Eyewitness News that have family that have lost homes and trailer park homes. That everyone's thinking about Malibu and the Pacific Palisades and those nice homes
Yeah.
that were once there, still there and damaged. And that's not the holistic thing of everyone that's lost stuff there. Really important to put that message
There are
out.
trailer parks in Malibu too, by the way.
Yes, yes, there are.
Yeah.
And what's still standing there. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for also being able to jump on with us. I know you got a busy day too. Big day ahead. And yeah, we'll encourage everyone again, watch your YouTube page, Alex Michelson. You can follow the progress of the issue is, and of course, Sunday morning, 6 a.m. on Bakersfield and Fox 58.
Thank you. Yes, special edition of The Issue is this week, reporting from here with the president, from here with the governor, in Washington with both of our senators, several members of Congress, Fox's Brett Baer sitting down with us, conservative commentator Dave Rubin, all of that included in a half-hour special that somehow I'm going to have to figure out a way to put together.